Y'all doing all right? Feeling good? Yeah. This is like the kickoff to the kickoff that was last night. I'm sure we all had a good time. I had a pretty good time. We're going to talk about something today that, like all this stuff, gets me pretty fired up. But it's something I've been playing around with a lot lately. I've never given a seminar on this. It's the first time. And I'm actually going to be rolling this out, what I've been doing as a VAR myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Marcus Sheridan. You can find me at a couple different places. The main place to find me is the Sales Lion, L-I-O-N. If you misspell it, L-I-N-E, you'll still find me. And thesaleslion.com. So that's me. Apparently, we're supposed to rate this session. So all y'all, if you do rate it, please lie and say it was great. All right, next. The vision of inbound marketing. If you, right now, go into any of your clients' organizations and you ask them what the vision of inbound marketing is, any employee, what would they say? Huh. Who said that? Huh. Larry, you said huh. Why would they say huh? Because most of their employees have probably never heard of inbound marketing. Why is that? Because we haven't told them. Why haven't we told them? Now, but does anybody disagree with this statement right here? Come on in, everyone. This is a party for the VARs. And it's going to be a good one. This is my man. You came from, where was it, Belgium?
Yep, exactly.
What was your name again?
Matthew.
Let's give Matthew a round of applause. Woo! You didn't know you were going to be a star here, did you, Matthew?
No, I wasn't expecting
You're
it.
turning red, Matthew. This is what I do professionally for a living, is turn people red. It's called forced participation. It's awesome. Okay, so we all admit, can we just go ahead and admit right now we have this problem? I would venture to say, and let me know if I'm wrong, that if we go into organizations where we're implementing inbound marketing, that somewhere in the 90+ percentile range of the employees would not have a clue as to what inbound marketing is. Is that accurate, that statement? So the great question is, as VARs, why? And that's what I want to talk about today, because it's a problem that we've got to fix. And let me tell you what inbound marketing is not. Sometimes people tell me social media is just a bunch of tools. I want to kick those people in the shin. Some of you all might have said that before, but I think there's a problem if we start to look at everything as a tool. Now, granted, even I before have said, yes, HubSpot is a tool. But inbound marketing is not a tool at all. And if the vision is the vision of tools, we're in big trouble. This ain't about tools. Another thing this ain't about. This ain't about programs. This ain't about programs. What's the difference? If anybody can tell me, what's the difference between a program and a culture in an organization? What's your name?
Adam.
Adam, that's right. There's like 4 Adams in here. Adam, what's the difference between a program and a culture in an organization? That's right. Program, it's finite, right? It has an end. Do people generally in organizations like programs? No. Why? Been there, done that. Even the word program totally is a turnoff at this point for most companies. Right, Greg? You hear the word program, you're like, here we go again. What are they unrolling out now? Program is a problem. And too many of us as VARs, we're instituting a program of inbound marketing. It stinks. We've got to change it. Are you with me? Anybody with me so far? Cool. I'm down with that. Okay, so how are we going to do it? I'm going to tell you a bunch of stories today about people that I've grown to love and I'm passionate about because I love my job. You know, I think one of the reasons why I've been semi-successful at this VAR thing is because I don't speak the language of marketing. And this is what I loved about what Scott said this morning. He said, let's get rid of the gobbledygook. And I've been preaching that forever. We got to get rid of this marketing talk. If my kids ever tell me they want to go to school, to some business school, I'm going to freak out because I think it'll mess them up forever. I really mean that. Now, some of you will take offense to that. But my reason for saying that is because we become so cursed with thinking that everybody knows what we know, and they don't. The greatest VARs and the greatest teachers of inbound marketers are the ones that can boil it down so anybody in the world, including a kindergartner, can understand this stuff. And that's how we can be successful with this. Let me tell you about Krista. She is a CMO, the marketing officer of a company called Block Imaging. And Krista came to me almost a year ago, and she said, Marcus, I need your help. She had a little problem. She believed in HubSpot. In fact, they were using HubSpot. She believed in the concept of inbound marketing and blogging and all that other stuff. But she had a problem. And what do you think her problem was? As the head of marketing for her organization, what was her problem? It's the same problem that we see again and again and again. Nope. What was this? What's your name? Kristen. Nobody else in the company knew what she was doing. And when she would go to the people in the company and say, hey guys, I got this idea. If we produce content and if we start teaching people about what it is that you do, we're going to be really successful. And what do you think the people said? Sure. What else did they say? I'm too busy doing my stuff, right? But were they too busy? We'll come back to that. What else did they say? What they almost always say. That's not my job. Laura, good. Good color scheme. Work it out, girl. So, it's not my job. We have this it's not my job problem in so many of our organizations that we're working with, y'all. We got to stop this mess. If somebody says it's not my job, if somebody says that's not my priority, what do they not understand? What are they missing? You said mission, Greg? Vision? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Mission works too? Yeah. In fact, this is the email she sent me. I get inbound marketing, I want to blog, I want to do video, but it goes in one ear and after the other. Management and all the employees, they tell me the same thing. Sounds nice, Krista. Good luck with that. And I know what they're really thinking is, that's not my job. Huge, huge problem. But what they don't get is the why. And this is what this session is all about. It's about the why. Because the moment that we can embrace the why, ourselves individually as a VAR, as a HubSpotter, as an inbound marketer, and as a teacher of inbound marketing, everything will change. I'm telling you, everything will change. Now, who's heard of Simon Sinek? Simon Sinek. Who's heard of him? Number 4th rated TED Talk of all time. Yes, ma'am. What's your name? Yes. I know you. How you doing, girl? Give it up. We met last year, right?
We sat for lunch together.
Yes, it was a good lunch. One I shall never forget. Okay, so, what's Simon do? What's his shtick? Why? And this is so interesting. I've been teaching this junk for like a year hardcore now, really about 6 months hardcore to different organizations. And literally, I didn't find out about Simon until about 2 months ago. And as soon as I watched his TED video, which by the way, I was invited to speak at TED 2 days ago, give me some love for that. The Lion is going to be rocking a TED stage soon. I am so pumped. Anyway, so he talks about this thing called the golden circle. The golden circle. Can you define what the golden circle is for me? Yes, sir. What was your name again? We had dinner last night. Jason. Break it down, Jason. The why. Okay. You're good. Keep going. You're on a roll. What? That's exactly what it is. Very well done. Now, here's the thing. There is a golden circle to inbound marketing. And this process is so very imperative. And it's so simple. And this is our challenge. Number 1. And this is what Simon says, by the way. He says, a lot of companies understand the what. Some understand the how. And very, very few understand the why. Very few understand the why. And it's because we've never taken the time to teach them the why. But what's interesting about inbound marketing, and we all have this issue with buy-in, and we can't get buy-in, we can't get participation. Oftentimes, we don't even teach them the what. And if we don't teach them the what, do they get the how? Of course they don't get the how. And if they don't get the how, do they get the why? This is a domino effect. Without one, we do not have the other. One weak link in the chain, and we are not going to have success. We've got to change this if we're going to start, or better stated, if we're going to continue this magical momentum that is HubSpot and inbound marketing. We have got to change this individually, within ourselves and going forward. So how do we get there? That's what we're going to talk about. All right. I show this because this is an actual photo for one of the summits that I have been doing. And really, what they are is in-house workshops. Krista says to me, Marcus, I love the way you talk about this stuff. Will you come to my company and get everybody interested in this stuff? I said, wow, this is the best challenge I've ever had. Literally. Used to be a pool guy. Now I'm writing about this stuff. Now people want me to come out and convert the organization. This is a great, great challenge. And I was so excited about it. So I went out to her place, and we had literally an 8-hour, one-day workshop with the entire organization. Now, Block Imaging has a staff of about 80 people. 80 people. The whole staff, the whole organization was required to be there. Every single person was required to be there. A big investment? For 80? Yeah, big investment. A big investment. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, okay? The problem is, folks, this is how most people do it when they try to establish cultures of inbound marketing. What they do, a CMO or a head of marketing or the business owner, they will send out a blog post, an email to everybody in the company, and what will they say? Hey, I need your help. I need you to blog. You guys got great things to say. And while you're at it, start creating videos too. How's that go? That stinks. But yet it's what everybody's doing. They skipped the whole part. I have seen management buy-in before, and nobody else does. Management tries to push a program. They say, we're all going to blog, and everybody fights back. And why? It was never right here. They never got the why. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, if you start this process, and if you want to go into an organization and really change everything, it starts with this right here. For example, if you're with a group of people, it all starts with, what the heck is inbound marketing in the first place? With everyone. What is inbound marketing? Number 2, what is a blog? How many people in an organization know what a blog is and know the right definition for a blog? How many? We say blog, and most people don't know. What are you going to say, my man? Weblog, right. And that's the that's how it all came together. Weblog became a blog. But this is what they don't even understand. Most people don't know that a blog is just part of your website. They don't even know that. Most don't know that a blog really is just a formatting of information now. That's what it's become. They don't know that one single company could have 4 or 5 blogs depending on the theme that blog is around. It has nothing to do with blog anymore. Blog has now become a format. That's what it's become. It's become a format and a way of displaying information that shares a theme on a website. That's what a blog is. They need to know that every single article of a blog is an actual page of that website. Most don't know. Tell me this. How many people in an organization know how Google actually works? What would you say the percentage is? Google, in terms of search, in terms of, okay, guys, y'all are all car salesmen, and you sell Chevrolets, somebody's looking at Chevrolets, what do they type in? And we do this together, and then we watch the results. We see what's on the upper left. We see what's on the right. We see the 10 that's on the left side of the page. How many people know really what it is they're looking at and how it got there in the first place? How many? What would you say? Almost none. Almost none. But yet we don't ever bother teaching how Google works, and we ask them to participate in blogging. Whack. It's crazy. It's really, really nutters. You know, I will sit down. People say to me, all right, Marcus, how do you get these organizations to buy in? Do you know my number one with management, okay? With management and then with employees. The number one, we'll just call it a closing tool, whatever you want to call it. The number one tool I use to get management to buy into the power of inbound and content marketing is teaching them how Google works. Why they click on what they click. Why specificity matters when they click. What makes them go somewhere versus the other. But I have found that most VARs and teachers of this never even bother teaching people why they click what they click, but we all have the same patterns. We all make quick decisions when we search somewhere, and within seconds we'll make a click, don't we, Owen? And we don't even know why we do it, but we just know we do. But have we ever gotten to the core of why we click what we click? Why do you click what you click?
Hopefully I typed in the right...
It's all a part of this school of search that we've all gone to. We've all gone to the school of search, and none of us even realize it. My man. Yeah, what matters to you? But you see, we have never really talked about that, and we don't teach people about that. Google's never given really a class on that, but we've all learned how to search. We've all learned the power of the search engine. This is what content is all about. We've got to do this. How do consumers research and shop online? And that's how people shop online. How will inbound marketing and content affect a company? Most people never capture this vision. They never see, oh my goodness, you're telling me that one single blog article that you wrote, Marcus, made your swimming pool company $1.2 million in sales? Yes. And you're telling me this is how it affected the company and the 16 employees you had? Yes. And you're telling me that each person within this organization could possibly write an article just like that? Yes. And then all of a sudden, the light bulbs start to come on because you have boiled this down, this whole process of search and content and information and inbound to a level that everybody understands it. And then you can start to have some magic. The thing about this is, before you ask people to do anything, you've got to get them on the same page. Organizations now will come to me and say, Marcus, will you come speak to our management team? I say, about what? They say, well, we want to implement this strategy of content inbound marketing. Yeah, that's cool, but the only way I'm going to do it is if you bring your entire staff in, I talk to the whole company. No, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Well, then I ain't coming. Period. Why? Because we're all going to get on the same page or this ain't going to work. And by the way, as a VAR, if you go and do a workshop for a day, that's very, very profitable. Very profitable. Okay? There's different ways to do this. And by the way, the stuff that I'm teaching today, I'm not asking you to copy it. I'm not asking you to do the exact same thing. I'm just asking you to take the principles that we're talking about, which really is the principle of the why, and apply it to your sales process as a VAR. That's all I'm asking you to do. This is not necessarily the best way for anybody in here. Right now, this is my way. I know for a fact that it does amazing things within organizations. Once everybody in that company, once each person sees the vision, and once each person in the company realizes they're a teacher, that they have a voice, that they have skills that nobody else has, and that the world is waiting to know what those skills are, and all they have to do is write a Word document and send it in to the marketing team, then crazy things will happen. Let me give you an example. To make a long story with Block Imaging, I went out there and we had this discussion with their 80 employees. And we said to them, every one of you all has value to bring. Every one of you is a teacher, and every one of you knows what you do within your department better, certainly, than the CMO, the CCO, than anybody within the company. And they said, we're down. We're down. This is a letter I got shortly afterwards from Bruce Block. He says, Marcus, thanks for coming. Your presentation was both lively and informative. And we are blogging our collective hearts out as we speak. Beyond that, I believe you effectively expanded everyone's field of view to include much more than blogging, because is this really about blogging? That's not the why. The why is not blogging. What's the why? What's that? Well, I'm sorry? Okay, growing the company, but what's the deeper why than that? Helping your clients. Because everyone in a company is a teacher and they don't even realize it. This is a session about enabling people to use their talents and gifts and give it to the world. Sounds cliche. I swear to you, it is not. Because once somebody catches this vision, magic starts to happen within the company. And Bruce goes on to say, we now clearly understand that the goal is to inform, educate, and convince. Heretofore, the job of marketers, salespersons, and advertising companies is now the job of our team and its collective knowledge and capability. What a huge advantage it is for companies who are really good to be able to leverage what they know and are willing to share for the greater good and then receive later on the blessing. Wow. So much more efficient and user-friendly. It only took a few hundred years since the Industrial Revolution to change the paradigm forever. Thank you for equipping us with the next step. We're truly excited. Does he start to get it now? Is he seeing the results now? Here's what's so interesting about block imaging. Now, what they do is they take refurbished MRIs and they sell them around the world. They'll take a broken MRI, fix it, and sell it around the world to a hospital that couldn't afford a real one, and they get a used one, and now they save lives because of it. Is there a why behind that? Darn straight. But now their employees get to teach it. Here's what's so interesting. They have one employee. Amazing. They have an employee that was an engineer. He never talked to anybody. He just was an engineer in a corner playing with stuff. We said to him, you could be a teacher, that you can tell people what it is that you do. He's now become a prolific content producer and blogger for this company. He eats this stuff for breakfast. Not only has it become life-changing for him, now who does he have a relationship with within the company? Everybody. And why? Because they're all aware of the fact that he is doing something that's helping the whole organization. They keep going up to him and congratulating him on his articles and on his videos. Are you seeing what I'm saying? A person that never had a voice before now has a voice to be able to share with everybody in the company. That's magical. Krista, the CMO, a few weeks later, I said, how's it going? She said, seamless. I dare say that I believe this event will be a catalyst. I'm so happy to report that the team is still rocking and rolling in full force. More blogs, plural, arrived in my inbox even today. It is awesome to see so many people helping, keeping the enthusiasm alive. They're collaborating across departments, breaking down silos, working together. I know I'm not telling you anything new, just thought it would be fun for you to hear that the fun continues. Is that a culture? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Do they understand the why within this company? My argument is yes. Now, she sent me this. Krista did. She sent me this. You've all seen this before, haven't you? She sent me this slide. When she started with this company, she was producing the content. That's her baby there. What do we got as results? We've got from her, when she started, 9 months in, basically no growth. No growth. One voice, one set of knowledge. Now, everybody in the company says, you know what? I can be a teacher as well. And they've exploded. In fact, their blog has already become the most prominent thought leadership blog in the entire medical imaging industry because they all bought in. That's the power of community. That's called insourcing, not outsourcing. That's insourcing. Does it work in other industries, you ask? Because the problem that we have at these conferences, and man, I get so tired of hearing it, y'all. I heard it for years as a pool guy, now I still hear it. Yeah, but you're a pool guy. Yeah, but they're a medical imaging company. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, but we're B2B, we're B2C. We're large, we're small, we're national, we're local. Man, this has nothing to do with what type of business you have. This is the principle, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about marketing. We're talking about teaching and communication, which are principles that are timeless. Does it work in other industries? Tell you about this company right here, U.S. Waterproofing. Dang, I love these people. All right. His name is Matt Stock. They have a company in Chicago. It's called U.S. Waterproofing. Now, does anybody know what the average 40-year-old guy in Chicago looks like? He looks like that. It's like an episode of Cheers, okay? That's what he looks like. I went to this company. Matt said to me, man, look, I get your shtick. You like do this whole, it's a culture thing within an organization, but you don't understand how we work in Chicago. I'm like, yeah, okay, Matt, okay, I understand. You're the exception. I know, man. You're awesome. He said, I'm telling you, my sales guys, they're not going to be down with this stuff. I'm like, okay. We go in there. We spend an entire day teaching everybody the what, the how, and the why. And of course, it's one long conversation. And everybody starts to think of all the magic. And one thing that's really interesting about that, we're talking about how easy it is to blog and create content. We do a brainstorming activity during this workshop. And we divide the company into 2 teams. And we say, the first team that can tell us, that can reach 50 blog post titles wins. And we set it up as something really, really cool. And of course, by this point, they already know how to come up with blog post titles. They take every single question they've ever received from a prospect or from a client, and that's the title of the post. No science, right? No science. And so they do this, and every single one of these that I've gone to now, we leave the room with 100 titles for 100 future blog posts, and everybody is jacked up. And they say, gosh, this is really easy. Yes, it is easy, but we got to turn on our ears and we got to be listeners. And so I spoke to these 35 sales guys that look like Big Ben right here, and what was the result? And by the way, the result is this. This guy's name is Bob. He's got the funkiest mustache I've ever seen. He's got a mullet that you can't see, a Mr. T necklace. He's got an earring. Now, do you look at that and say, blogger? But he has been in thousands of basements. Over the course of 20 years, how many questions has he answered about basements and waterproofing? Thousands. Do you think he's just been waiting to teach the world what he does? Yes. He has a voice. He understands content. And they all understand how to use content in the sales process. And so this is when I went out. They all bought in, and bang, they exploded. They're dominating the waterproofing industry right now. How about another one for you? Yale Appliance. Right here. Anybody live in Boston? Anybody live in Boston? This is Boston's premier appliance company. HubSpot user. Okay? Steve Scheikoff. I'm going to talk about him in my session tomorrow because, man, he's doing cool things. All because we've taught that company to be listeners. And Steve, I talked to his salespeople. You know what's funny about Steve? He said, you know, Marcus, all these people you're going to be talking to, they're from Boston. You know that, right? So I went from Chicago to Boston because we all think that our people are not going to embrace. But if we turn it and we say, you're a teacher of men, and you have this ability to teach them what you do, and you're so valuable, this Yale Appliance is absolutely blowing up. Now, let me tell you what happened. What's so interesting about this? You can't even see it here, but Steve, when he came to me, this was his blog, but the thing about it is, he started in 2007. He's got hundreds of articles. He integrates company voice. He goes to insourcing. He allows everybody else to be content producers, idea generators, and bam, now he's exploded. And boy, the stats are wild. If I could, tomorrow I'm going to talk more about it with Steve on stage because it's unbelievable. Insourcing is so powerful if you do it the right way, but you got to believe. Phase 2, keeping it going. Once you've had a workshop, now we started to implement a culture. But does a culture last if we don't nurture that culture? No. This is where the VARs come in. Some of you VARs right now have been saying to yourselves, yeah, but this is going to kill my business. This is going to kill my retainers. No. No, it won't. Because, first of all, there is so many parts to this. A workshop, so powerful. The relationship you're going to now get with all the employees, will it change? Different than what you normally have? Completely. Now you're going to know all the employees within the organization. Everything is going to change, but you got to keep it going. Anybody know who she is right there? That's Ann Hanley, author of Content Rules. She rocks. She's the CCO of Marketing Prof. Love that lady. She's very, very cool. Here's the thing. A chief content officer normally will organize content, calendar, handle social media and PR, edit the content, motivate, communicate, inspire. What I have implemented in the companies I've been working with, and this is great as a VAR, I will actually interview, hire, and train the CCO to do what they do. You could do this as a VAR. You could do this as a VAR. Let's say as a VAR, you don't want to do that. By the way, doing that is really powerful because you're going to have to board them and you're going to have to train them for a long time. You're going to keep them on a retainer for a long time because now it's a culture. Everything is different than the way we've always done it before. But also, as the VAR, you're going to have to train the CCO. You're going to oversee the content, oversee the social, oversee the strategy, and then you're going to watch the story write itself. And when you have the ability to tell a story, your ability to sell what is HubSpot is phenomenal. It's unbelievable. We have to be better storytellers. How do you become a better storyteller? You create stories. How do you create stories? You do stuff that other people don't think makes sense. To most people, this doesn't make sense. To you, I'm telling you, you can do this. You can go into companies and you can instill a culture of inbound marketing. And that's what the vision of inbound marketing is. The vision is a culture. And I would challenge you, that's my challenge to you today, that you stop looking at HubSpot and inbound as just a bunch of tools, as a program, as something we're going to try for 6 months with this company. And if they see it as something they're going to just try and not as who they are, then you're going to fail with that organization. The challenge is that you make sure everybody in that company buys in, top to bottom. The trickle-down effect is amazing. That you allow the CCO or yourself to keep the culture going. That you make them aware of the victories. That you help each one of the salespeople see in that company newsletter, like all my CCOs do. Hey, look, we got a sale here because of this blog article that such and such wrote. Way to go. Hey, look, we got this comment here on the blog article that Jason wrote. Way to go. And everybody sees it, and they're kept informed. And it goes, and it goes, and it goes. This is how we establish a culture. This is how we establish a culture. I've talked a lot, and I want to answer a few questions. Real quick, just a couple things. Thousands of people have gone to my site and downloaded this ebook, Inbound and Content Marketing Made Easy. It's free. It took me 2 years to write. It's 250 pages, something like that. It will change the life of a business and maybe your business if you implement what's found therein. I say that with all sincerity. I get letters every single day, emails around the globe from people that have read that. The final thing is, in a few weeks, I'm coming out with Inbound Trainer with 2 partners. Inbound Trainer, I've loved HubSpot education for so long, but I've always wanted to see, I've had this vision of HubSpot in a different format. Spoken by the owner Ali, as they say, by the person that doesn't speak the marketing language and done it in video format. So Inbound Trainer is going to be a series of videos. It's going to be start to finish for all HubSpotters. And it's our hope at Inbound Trainer that we integrate all the VARs into this process so they can be educators as well, they can be affiliates, and it's going to be something really, really special. You can actually go to inboundtrainer.com to learn about, well, not learn about it because we haven't launched yet, but if you want to stay informed about it, it's going to be cool, and I cannot wait to watch it unravel over these next, what will probably be a few weeks. I say this because we are in a special time. We didn't have this many people attend HubSpot just 2 years ago. Now we have that many VARs. But as VARs, we can have a short-term vision or we can have a long-term vision. If our entire vision is focused on education, you see that's the theme, that we really want to be not only the best teachers in our field, but we want the companies that we work with to be the greatest teachers at whatever it is that they do, we are going to be grossly successful. You're going to find that it's easy to sell the product, that it's much easier to keep them on, that they want to continue and to work with you. And if you look at bigger ways, instead of just getting them on the tool, but you say, why don't we make this a culture? Why don't we do the workshop? Why don't we hire a CCO possibly? Why don't we oversee it? We can produce your content, whatever it is. There's so much more if we become great teachers first. That's my challenge to you. Let this be a culture heretofore, and you're going to be ultra successful. Thank you very much. Questions? We got a few minutes. I know you got questions. Right here. Yes, ma'am.
I think what you're saying is brilliant.
Thank you.
Bar, yeah.
Okay.
I run a copywriters collective and ghost blogging company.
Awesome.
I do find that, and we're talking to a lot of the CEOs to ghost blog for them. The struggle that we solve, our life, comes from taking away that struggle.
This is a great point.
So my question really is, when you get everyone in the company blogging,
Okay, this is great. First of all, you have to have a catch-all because you don't want people uploading the content. You don't want the people worrying about links, bolds, bullets, subtitles, headers, any of that. You want, basically the approach is this. I want you, here's the question. How much does a fiberglass pool cost, right? So I want you to go answer that and answer it like you were talking to somebody in a coffee shop. If it takes you more than 20 minutes, that's too long. Send it in when you're done. And you give them a format. Every single, and this is how I do it with the companies that I work with and train. Every single first paragraph starts something like this. You know, the other day I was talking with a customer and they asked me, how much does the fiberglass pool cost? And I thought, gosh, that's a really important question and it's about time it was answered. So that's what I'm going to do today. And that's the same format for almost every single article. If you can give them the title, if you can give them what is essentially the opening paragraph and tell them don't worry about the grammar and all that other stuff, and you have a catch-all, which could be your company or it could be somebody else. It could be somebody in-house or it could be you. You could do magical things. And by the way, I also now have started training CCOs to interview the CEOs, the management, and the employees. So they're going to find when you do this what happens. You have hidden gems. You have people that are just really great at creating ideas to write about, but they're not great at writing it. Then you have the people that want to write and communicate, but they're so fearful of the writing. So you, as the VAR or the CCO, you go to that person and you say, let's just talk about it. You record it. And it's a style of shortcut or voice blogging as a ghost writer. Very effective. I've had tremendous success with it. I'm implementing more and more of that because it's so exciting. You eliminate every potential hurdle for the employee. You just want them to feel like, I can do this. I don't have to be a writer. Whatever you got to do. And you will find that each employee becomes customized. Yes?
First of all, what does CCO stand for?
Chief Content Officer. Curse of knowledge, I should have said that. Chief Content Officer. That's what Ann Hanley was, and that's what they do over there.
Can you go back to the slide with that one when you have the...
Yeah, I'll go back to that. I'll go back to that. Did you have another question? Okay, yes, good question. Sorry about that. I should know better.
How do you qualify your leads so that you're working with companies that are going to benefit most? What are the characteristics that you're
Okay, man, I wish I could talk all day about this. Has anybody ever read my stuff about assignment selling? Assignment selling is the greatest qualifier that I have ever found when it comes to inbound and content marketing. So let's say one of you all calls me up after today and says, Marcus, I really want to work with you. I want you to come out and work with my company. I'll say, awesome. Have you gotten my ebook yet? Well, no, but I wanted to go ahead and start this conversation. I say, that's great. You have to read my ebook in order to have a conversation about coming out to your company because I want you first to understand the why. I want you to have a foundation. And guess what? If that person does not read the ebook, what happens? No dice. We don't continue. And what does it say about the person if they don't read the ebook? They weren't serious. Now, what happens if somebody reads 240 pages or 50 pages of my stuff? It becomes a love fest. They will not hire anybody else. Do you see what I'm saying? I do this with swimming pools. If we go out to the house, first thing they have to do is read the ebook. We have the highest closing ratio in the entire world for swimming pools. It's not even close. Most of the pools we sell before we get to the home. Unheard of. We reach a contract price before we get to the home, all because of assignment selling. I wish, hopefully next year HubSpot will give me like an hour to talk about assignment selling alone. Content is the greatest sales tool in the world, by far. But if we don't understand how to use that content in the sales process, part of this organizational movement is every salesperson now sees, okay, it's not a blog article. This is ammo. Every article and every video we produce, I use in the sales process. I will send now specific emails with specific pieces of content now to my leads, whereas before I never knew what we were writing about on the blog. Now they see the blog as their best sales tool. Do you see the difference of the vision? It's a huge difference. But if they don't understand the why of all that, they never get it. Next question. There's a bunch more. Come on. We got a couple more minutes. This is exciting. I don't want y'all to be stunned. Yes? Reporting is so cool because this is why I also make a requirement that every client that I have uses HubSpot, because we want to show definitive ROI, right? We want each employee to know your article was read this many times, way to go. Your article led to these many leads, awesome, and we want everybody else to know that. And we want to close the loop finally, because we can with HubSpot, even though most of the users still aren't closing out their leads, which is nuts, and we got to teach them to close their leads out. People all the time ask me, they read my stuff, how do you know you made $1.2 million off of one article, $400,000 off of another article, $300,000 off of another article? Because I track this stuff. Because I can. Because I use the right tool, which is called HubSpot. That's why it's not an option. I don't ask people. After they have gone through the workshop, and I show the salespeople, how would you feel, Mr. Salesperson, if you could know every page of the site that your prospect has been on before you go on a sales appointment, before you make the initial phone call? How would you feel about that? And the salespeople go, woohoo, wow, that would be awesome. Yeah, well, we can now know that. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, it is. I have never, in the past 6 months, I've never asked anybody to be on HubSpot. They've asked me. But it's not like that. I say, we got $1.2 million off of one article. Here's my other clients. This is how they've done it. They say, well, I want that tool. What is it? Please, I want it. It's a different way of presenting. We go in and we talk all these crazy words and we're pitching inbound marketing. That's crazy. Stop it. Go in there and say, how much are you spending on pay-per-click? How much did you make on pay-per-click? Why don't you know? Now it's time you know. Do you want to know? Yes, I do want to know. Well, let's find out. What do you say? Yes. Show me how you do it, Marcus. And that stands for PPC, for content. Are you doing social? Well, yes. How much money have you made? I don't know. Why don't you know? I don't know, Marcus. Do you want to know? Yes, I want to know. Do you want to see how you can find out? Yes. Do I mention the phrase inbound marketing? No. So I don't care about that. Now, eventually they get it at the workshop. But right now I want them thinking, wow, I can finally know where all this money is going. Isn't it magical? I don't think at all, we don't come close to using or selling HubSpot as the greatest ROI, return on investment tool that it is in social media today. That one, if you master that one skill alone, you will, do you know how many times that I've just shown the ROI capabilities of HubSpot? Not talked about 90% of the system. I have people say, please, I want it. And we're so busy trying to show 1,000 things. No, don't show them 1,000 pieces to the puzzle. Show them the pieces that really mean something to them, and they're going to go with it. But you got to do it on an elementary level. Question?
Yes. What do you do with organizations that don't have a marketing director or CMO, much less a CC?
Okay, so let's say it's a mom and pop. Let's say it's a mom and pop. The principle is still the same. I was a mom and pop. The way that I got the most traffic swimming pool website in the world was from blogging at my kitchen table at 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock at night. Anybody that's read my stuff knows the story, right? But it's the different approach. And the approach is, you, sir, are the greatest teacher in your field. And all you have to do is answer every single question that you've ever received. How many questions have you gotten, mom and pop, over these last 10 years as you've been in business? And they all say hundreds, thousands. And how many times have you answered those same questions again and again to the same people again and again, over and over? Why do you answer them again and again when you can already answer them on your website one time? Do you know when I am on a sales appointment, or one of my people now are on a sales appointment, and they ask me a question, I think to myself, why don't they know that? Because almost they should know everything now with the power of inbound content marketing before you have that first sales appointment, if you're doing things the right way. That's assignment selling. Come on, man, I'm just getting started. Let's go. We got a couple more minutes. One more, come on, one more question. One more, yes, ma'am. what would happen? All right, so you have an editorial staff. How many employees do some of these large companies have? Let me give you an example. I got a company. They're a government contractor. Really exciting, right? They have 170 people. The 170 people have now bought in. We've started with a core group of 50 that are going to be producing content and blogging. She's got so many articles. I had to train, hire, CISO, everything. She's just getting tons coming in. The thing about it is, if an editorial staff realizes the vision here, that everybody buys in, now they have way more work than they ever had in the first place because they're actually spending their time editing because people's stuff needs to be edited. And so if this is done the right way, everybody's job grows. It doesn't take away from you or your retainers or anything. In fact, you become so embedded into the culture, into the company, that it becomes magical. I'm telling you, I got relationships with people and staff, people on the field. I mean, to this day, I get, a year later, salespeople are emailing me. Those Chicagoans are emailing me. Marcus, I was on the sales appointment. I used assignment selling. Man, that's awesome. I sent them a blog article that I had written myself, and dude, it was so great. Yes, it works. That's so magical. But most people, most VARs, they don't have a relationship with the sales staff of companies. I'm not knocking on y'all. It's just the way that we've always done it. We've got to change. All right, so give me some love. Clap it up.